This is my newsletter. It's long format today. This goes out to all Dinny Combs Fitness athletes, but I'm just going to record a video variation in case that suits people better. So, athletes, I'm so proud of our community and our team right now. Our February challenge has only begun, but already we have plenty of new members ready to break into new routines. Okay, so my ethos has, which I think it was Tony Robbins said it, that if you help enough people get what they want, you'll always get what you want, and that's always what I've done. And that's why I share this story to you. I fear it might be a little heavy going, but ultimately I want to help you. So strap in. As a kid, I always wanted to be rich. I was an entrepreneur as a kid. I ran a golf ball collecting company for 7 years. I waded the lakes of the surrounding golf courses in Corbliss, and I cleaned and I washed the golf balls and sometimes even bleached them. And then I sold them back to the golf clubs, and they'd sell them in their pro shops back to the golfers. I also worked at Milkground for a couple of years. I worked in my dad's business most summers when I was in school. And I was even a bouncer in a caravan park arcade, which was a crazy job because it was a rough place. And my job was paid £1 an hour to try not to let the lads wreck the place. So there was a balance between doing your job and getting beaten up. I didn't last in that one too long. Okay, so the point is that I always wanted to make money, and I always worked hard for my money. But what is money? And this is how I understand it. Money is something that we exchange for our labour. So we give our time, our labour, for money. If I work for an hour and someone gives me a tenner, well, I've exchanged an hour of my life for the tenner. So that hour of my labour is stored in that tenner for me to then use later at whatever I want to use it on. Okay? I didn't say this would be easy. So our money is a way to store our time, or our labour, or our energy. But our money, our currency, does not store our time or our labour or our energy effectively. It steals it. Now, stay with me because I know this is complex stuff, but I'm doing my best to keep it really, really simple. So we earn euros. We pay our taxes in euros, and we spend our daily living expenses in euros. But if we save in euros, which is our money, our time bleeds out because it loses value. And everyone knows this, but no one sometimes thinks why or how to get around this problem. So here's an example of why it's a big problem, in Dinny's opinion. So I'll just call it euros for simplicity. But I asked my dad what he earned in his first job, and he said his first job he earned £5 a week. So I've gone back even further than my dad, but a man in 1960 decides to work for 1 year. Okay, he's a kind and generous man. He says, I'm going to work for 1 year, and all the profits of my labour he's going to give to his first grandchild. Okay, so he earns €5 a week, and he saves the whole €5 every week. He works for 40 hours a week. Okay, and he works for 52 weeks, and that earns him €260. Remember back then, that was a decent sum of money, like a bloody nice gift that would have been. He was a very generous man, and his family was worth everything to him. So he took that €260, which is going to be a gift for his grandson, which is worth a lot of money back then. You can buy a lot of things with it, and he stores it in a bank safety deposit box. Fast forward a few years. In 2020, his first grandson is born, and his name is John. So the man proudly takes the €260 from the safety deposit box in the bank and hands it to his son and says, keep that for John. When John is 18, give it to him and tell him it's from his granddad, and his granddad loved him. Okay? Remember, this man in this example traded over 2,000 hours of his own labour working for 1 year for this gift for his grandson. But today, the 260 is not worth the 2,000 hours of human labour. Nobody would work in 2020 2,000 hours to receive €260. And by the time John is 18, what will he actually be able to buy for that €260? This story saddens me actually a little bit, because most people are unaware of this theft on your wealth, our time, our labour, and our energy. So our currency bleeds value over time. We know it, we don't question it. The rich people know and understand this, and it does help them get richer. And when you understand it, you can actually become richer by understanding this concept and how to leverage to your advantage. So How and why it happens is easily explainable, but we're already too deep, so I'm not going to go into that. But the lesson is just to know that it happens. We know that. Okay, is there a better place to store human time, energy, and labor? Yes, this is where Bitcoin comes in. You see, its creators recognized this flaw in our worldwide currencies, that they bleed our value. And how in 2008 financial crisis, it was the plebs like me, okay, who were left to deal with the mess that the rich bankers caused. Bitcoin solves this problem of money losing value over time. Bitcoin rewards those who choose to learn about it. Bitcoin can punish those who gamble on it for instant gratification or riches. Bitcoin is called open source, which means everything about it is shared. The ethos of Bitcoin is to share. So I teach a free Bitcoin basics workshop to help people through all the noise. The majority of the noise you think you know is simply untrue, unfortunately. And it's kept you poor because everything you've read in the news or you've heard from your friends has stopped you from ever getting involved in Bitcoin. And anyone who ever bought Bitcoin is in a financially better position right now than they were whenever they bought it. Over 12 years, there was no time you could have made a mistake. Okay. However, all that said, people still can make mistakes, but luckily Dini has financial education. I will teach the strategy at the Bitcoin Basics workshop, which I never used to teach, but I'm like, I might as well just give people this actual bulletproof strategy so they can't get wrecked. So I will teach the strategy that I've used, which has zero risk. Yes, zero risk. Crazy. Now, I know that it can't be done type person reading this will be getting fired up right now and saying, you know, it's too good to be true, blah, blah, whatever. But if you don't believe me, just show up to the Zoom this evening at 8:45. And if I don't prove you wrong, well, you can go and do whatever will justify me stealing an hour of your time. Because to steal anyone's time is truly theft. So you can blast me on Facebook or come beat me up or whatever. You see, I went from a broken back to an Iron Man. I went from living in a second mobile home to living in a mansion. Okay, so it can be done because I bloody done it. All right. My free Bitcoin Basics workshop is on Thursday, which is today, and it's on 8:45 p.m. I'm just going to teach you the basics of this amazing protocol. Okay, Zoom link is here somewhere under this video, I guess. To give an example of why I'm so passionate about Bitcoin, why is he so passionate about it? Like I'm passionate about health. If you have passion and purpose, lads, you have energy. The reason I'm so passionate about Bitcoin, as I am about health, okay, same amount of passion. Bitcoin can solve the two. Now I probably shouldn't even go here. I just put this in as a PS. But sure, I'm doing the video, so might as well. And you've watched for 8 minutes already. Oh my God, talk fast. Bitcoin can solve the two main problems facing humanity right now. Green energy solutions, okay? Bitcoin can solve that, okay? Second problem is that eventually we're going to have to leave the earth. Do you know what I mean? It's basic physics. It's like if you keep filling up a glass of water, eventually it starts spilling. But if humanity is to survive, we have to leave this planet eventually. Not today, tomorrow, or next week, next year, but eventually we do. Simple. Bitcoin solves that problem. Or can solve that problem. But I'm already way off my head with all this. You guys only came for burpees and here I am teaching you feckin' Monetary 101. But if you are interested in finding out a little bit more about Bitcoin, jump on the Zoom later. It's on at 8:45, Bitcoin Basics workshop. And I better keep reading. I say Dini out and then the newsletter. I say, if you did read all that, I want to congratulate you. And don't worry, I didn't understand all this stuff on my first time either. Okay, awesome. See you at the Bitcoin Basics workshop if you are interested in learning about what it is, what it's all about, and like I say, I'll be giving you my risk-free strategy if you did want to get involved with it. Boom, Dini out. Hit the like button if you haven't already.